Okay, let's start. Okay, in tonight we're just going to have a quick look at the interfaces and set up, make some changes that we need to make the actual interface usable and, well, make CyberArk usable as we go along. Okay, let's jump in. We're going to go to the CyberArk Vault and log in administrator tabs, password 4, and there we go. Okay, let's just turn that on for now. Okay, now that we logged in, we're going to make some changes. This is our interface. Let's just go through this first. We've got system health, where we can view the system health of the system. We can dig a little deeper into each component if we need to. And as you can see, we can see both of these too. Okay. Accounts, we can add accounts, delete and remove accounts. We can scan Active Directory for accounts, we can schedule changes, and we can quite a bit. Policies, we can do quite a bit in the policies as well. We don't need to do too much. These are the policies that we're going to be editing later on. But for now, we're just having a look. Access control safes. These are the safes that we're going to need. We're going to add more safes later on as we're going through on the system. So we're going to add a Windows account. We're going to add a Windows safe. A Linux safe. Just later on. Applications. We can add some applications here when it loads. But yeah, we'll leave that one for later. Reports. We can generate reports based on users access. And a whole bunch of other reports, which we will step into much later on. Okay, this is our LDAP integration. These are our mappings for our LDAP users that we've got. As you can see, CyberArk Vault admins, which is our Vault's admins mapping. LDAP CyberArk auditors, which is our auditors mapping. LDAP CyberArk users, which is our users, which we're going to put in users into that. We've got our administrative section where you can, if we go here, we can only add a email integration at the moment for sending notifications. We shall do that much later on as well. But you can see we've got our LDAP integration settings here. We can go directories, we can expand this all the way down. This setting we do need to change. We're going to put that to yes, because we actually do want it to always use Active Directory LDAP S. So we can apply that. Click OK and click OK. Change is saved and we'll go back. So we've got notifications. We haven't set that up. Endpoint privilege management integration. We've got that set up, but we need to make changes to this later on as well. We can't do anything now. So we're going to jump back. Platform management. These are our platforms we're going to add and change just now to create our safes that we need, because we're going to do, as we go along, we're going to copy the Windows one and the Unix SSH, and you click duplicate, and then we create a new one. Okay, we're going to go to policies. Let's go and look for session management. We need to change this setting from inactive to active. Save and close. Okay. This is our active audit retention period is set to value of 90. Okay. These are all set, haven't been set anything. Okay. As we can change the policy so you can see the full view, which is a bit easier, but you can't see much. Okay. Accounts. Okay. This is our bind account that we created earlier on the Windows machine, Windows domain controller, to bind the LDAP integration with Windows so we can pull through Windows accounts and log on using Windows user accounts. This is the PSM Connect account, and the PSM admin account. These are used to connect to the PSM server, which is over there. Okay. Okay, let's log in. Okay. Password to enter. There we go. Logging in. Okay. Server's there. It's running. We can even check the services. Administrator tools. And where's services? Okay, we need, where are our CyberArk services? CyberArk. That needs to be running to make the service work. Need that running. And we go down to, get rid of that once we can, so we can close that. There we go. Close it. Private arc. Private arc. Okay, it's only that one. It's only the CyberArk Privileged Access Manager, Session Manager on this one. CPM. Let's see what services we've got. CyberArk /admin. Password 4. Password 2 enter. Okay. There we go, it's loading. Okay, we have our CyberArk Client here as well. So this is logged in. You can only have one administrator logged in at a time. And if we go and have a look here, if you go and log in here, okay, wait for that to respond. You can also open up the services as well. Just wait for that to start. So this is going a little on the slow side, but hopefully it'll speed up. Okay, services. Okay, here we have standard. I like the standard view. Okay, Where are our CyberArk services? Okay, it's automatic. Got the CyberArk password manager, which is running. Okay, now let's scroll down, look for private arc. Oh, no private arc services running here, which is good. So it's only, and then let's see if this is started. There we go. Test. And if we go in here, password 4, enter. It'll now tell you that the gateway session user administrator has been disconnected, which is this user. So if we go and click on policies, it will now tell us that we're logged out. And log us out. If we try and log in here, administrator tabs password 4, enter. Already logged in, which is this user here. Okay, these are the safes and the vaults, if you want to call them. Okay, these are all encrypted. Okay, when we create safes later on to store user accounts and privileges and all of that, we'll see more safes in here. Okay, in here you can go to tools, administer users and groups. We see a lot of users now. Okay, that's the master user, which is the most important user. And you can't use, we don't have permission to use that user. See those user details. This is our LDAP test 1 user. As you can see, it's test 1, CyberArk OU is CyberArk, DC is CyberArk, and DC is LAN. Okay, so that's the user that was pulled through from Active Directory. Okay, in here we have the DR user for disaster recovery and the backup user. These actually are disabled. So you need to enable these later on when you do the backups and the DR stuff for the disaster recovery. An operator user, this one should be disabled as well. There you go. All disabled. Security to prevent, basically prevent security unauthorized usage during installation. Okay, and when we add more servers, like PSM servers, which I unfortunately can't do as I don't have enough space, you'll have more users. So the next one will be PSMP02 in my scenario, which will be the PSMP02 server. And PSM, if you add more users, PSM02 server, and the gateway will add a second server. Then we've got these two users. Well, also these are for the PVWA. When you add another user, another server, you'll get 2 new users, which you have to create as well later on when you're doing that installation. Okay, here's your auditors group and your Vault admins group. You add users to these who you need access. If you create a user manually, so if you go new and you go user, you create a user manually, you will then add them to either CyberArk auditors or Vault admins to give them security access. You can also see our test 1 users as we added him into both of them, is in there. This is because he's a user, he gets added here. Okay, let's see what else. So if we go to the Vault server here and we send control delete and we log on, password 1, enter. We try to log on here. as you're currently logged on in the other system, password 4, it gives you, is already logged on. You need to disconnect that session, otherwise you can't log in. This also causes issues when you're doing an installation. So make sure that when you're installing, that none of your users are logged in as administrator when you're logging in and installing, because your administrator user won't be able to log in and causes issues, as you won't be able to set up data, particularly with the PSMP installation. So we logged in here. We're logged in here as well. Now we need to log off here. It's already been disconnected. Okay, here we go. That's it. That's the CyberArk interface. Let's close that. That's the CyberArk interface. We've got this one running. This is where we can stop and start the services. Currently we're running, so it's not secured. We've done that. We actually did that now with the change. Stop the server, restart the server. That's your logs. Logs are very important. Every time they tell you what you've done wrong. Login failure. Login authentication failure. Using the wrong details to log in. Okay. Yeah, and then PSMP. Root. Password 1, enter. Now the password detail. There's 2 services that run on this machine. To make it run, I have a script that actually does a daily check script, daily health check script, that you basically collects the data from the 2 services, whether they're running or not, uptime, collects the disk usage, basically does a df minus h, which gives you your disk usage, tells you how much disk space you have. It also does a top, which gives you your CPU usage and system idle time and processors and zombied processes. Zombied processes need to be killed as they cause issues. And you can type clear to clear the screen. And that's basically it. You need to check your 2 services, which are in the CyberArk manual installation guide as well. But I'll be installing my script onto here later on to do it for me. Okay. And then that's our DC, which has got our user accounts in, which is important that you keep it up to date. And well, it's for the Active Directory guys to sort out more. That simple to keep everything in their location, and organizational units just to make things simpler. And the more you create, the more complex it gets, but the easier to find problems becomes more difficult. So if you keep things simple, it works easily. Okay, let's go back to the vault, the DC PVWA. Let's log in again. Enter. There we go. It's logging in. Okay, this gives you the last time you logged in, user that you logged in as. You can change your views if you want. Okay, let's have a look here. This is the classic view. Okay, you can set this up to rotate and everything and verify, which is good policy in the background, so that it's now actually known. You can actually change the view to the older view, which gives us more detail. Okay, once this finishes loading, I can show you, step through a little bit about what's in this view. Okay, so we can edit, we can change. So just change the passwords. You can change it on the vault only, you can password on the CPM, and immediately by CPM, which is then going to change both passwords. Okay, I'm going to cancel that. You can delete the account, you've got to move. You can associate with different safes. You can send links, you can show the password. Show the password. You can type in S, something there, so we can retrieve the password. Just password 4. It uses RDP, we'll leave it at that. Okay. This is the Windows domain account, it shows in there. Operations systems vault integration. That's the DC01 pass, administrator, basically last modified, last used, account address is on the DC, and the account name. Okay, this will show you your activities for the CPM. We've got all activities, which we'll have a look here. Retrieving password and integration, deleting, and whatever you've done in that. Got version. Okay, these are your passwords. We've got advanced. Here we can see which safe vault internal safe contains its root folder and all DC details that are in there. We do have, you can add from here, we can add an SSH key, we can add accounts, and we can customize. Okay. That's, we're going to be doing a lot of changes in here later on in platform management and options. You can see all our options here we can change. Going to be doing quite a bit in these ones later on to make sessions run. When we're doing, and that's our recording details that we can change. Here's our PSM server. If you have more than one, you'll have PSM servers listed there. And our TS terminal services gateway, which is listed there. Okay, so you can go into recording types, you can video, you can go into properties, size, you can make changes to these if you really want to, if you're required to make them appropriate for the company's environment that you're working with, but don't really need to. You can minimize that one. Count session recording, display. Got more settings that you can change, but you don't need to make many changes at all in this one. Commands. I'm going to be changing something later on. We'll be going through that later. But for now, this is the interface that we're going to be working with. There's your mobile applications when you're using those. We've got web help. can play with these settings and look through them. LDAP search, there's no username there. CPM password manager. You can change some of these depending on what you've actually customized for your environment, for your client's environment, which gets complicated, but keep it as simple, and remember, and write down in documents and encrypt those documents. Okay, let's clean this up a bit so that it looks decent again. That's the interfaces. There's only like the two main ones, which is the CyberArk Client, which is the connects directly to the Vault database, and then that connects from the service that you've configured, either the Vault server itself or the PSM server which we've configured. Setting up during that installation, if you remember, we set the IP address that, and those are the only two servers that can access the Vault currently on the PSM using the CyberArk application. Then the only other server we've got is currently is the web server, which is only accessible from any machine that can log into a web portal. So we can use any of these servers, but they're locked down. So we could actually log in from here, but let's see. We click Ask Me Later, and we can go to 192.168.10.21. Enter that, should take us to the PVWA. We can actually copy that. Let's copy that whole thing. Be easier. Control V and enter. There we go. Edit, close. There we go. We can use LDAP. Let's go test 1 tabs. Password 4. Enter. Test 1 tabs. Password 2. Was it? Password 4. Enter. There we go. Password 4 working. Okay. Currently we don't actually see the recordings, which as we get along doing the installation and setting up, we shall get more down here so we can see the recordings, which will happen later on. But for now, that's the server. That's CyberArk Interfaces. As you can see, we now logged in as last used, test 1, and the last used date. You can add accounts, which we shall step through those later. Okay, so, and that's our test user that we've logged in as. Okay, that's it for tonight.